Yo, what's good? It's Mastermind MMA, and this video is going to be breaking down Frankie Edgar versus Brian T. City Ortega and their bout, man. Such a dope fight. I'm going to be talking about some other fights on the card, but not spending too much time on it. The focal point is going to be on T. City and Frankie, because personally, I feel like a lot of the other fights was dash. I feel like the card overall was pretty trash, son, but I mean, I feel like it was honestly the most trash card they put on this year so far, 2018. Like, we're 2-3 months into it, and this is the worst card they put on so far. That's just how I feel, and I feel like that's a fair statement. And I feel like Frankie and Brian were like the best thing to happen on that card. I mean, that was obvious, but you know, I kind of anyway, I'm not gonna get into it right now, but first off rip, I want to shout out my guy ISD4NV. He asked me to do a prediction video on it before, but I didn't have the time to. I planned on doing it, but I didn't really get enough time to do it, so my bad about that, homie. And he requested the breakdown, so I'm coming through on this one for you, my man. So here we go. So Frankie Edgar and Brian Ortega, man, shit, bro. What do I even say? How the fuck do I even start this shit, my guy? Because damn, like T City, bro, is the real fucking deal, man. First off, man, salute to Frankie Edgar, respect to Frankie Edgar, because he did not have to take this fight, and a lot of people in his position would not have taken this fight at all, man. Like, this was most likely, we're talking about before the fight happened, this was looking like Frankie's last title shot. I mean, I don't know what kind of situation or anything would lead him to be able to get another title shot, but I feel like this one against Max, like, that was it. And you know, if Max wasn't champion at that weight class, it would have been it already, because you're not going to do a trilogy bout with Jose Aldo with Frankie, you know what I mean? So with Max being champion, and Max already cleared out a lot of the top guys in the division, this was a fresh matchup. So when Frankie was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll still take the T-City fight, that was a huge risk. And I mean, now we see it. Like, now in retrospect, it's like, damn, dude. Like, he lost it, man. Like, he had not much to gain. He really had nothing to gain. You know what I mean? Because, like, what? You could say, oh, if he beats Brian, he's going to get a title shot. Bro, he was already getting one. So it's like he literally had everything to lose and nothing to gain, and he lost everything. And that's being, like, very dramatic. I'm not saying, like, lost everything, but, dude, like, the title shot is the ultimate goal, and he gave that shit up, and he lost it in battle, and you got to respect that, because he just had that old school warrior spirit, and he's just part of a dying breed. And I mean, it's understandable, because look at the price he paid. He lost his probably last title shot, but the thing is, the respect is there, and you know, for the fans, man, they're gonna know Frankie Edgar is a fucking warrior. But before this fight happened, I wouldn't say. Here's exactly how I felt, man. I felt like T City and Frankie Edgar was going to be an amazing fight, and this is all before it happened. I thought it's going to be an amazing fight. I feel like it was going to be all stand up. I didn't think, because I knew Frankie wasn't going to risk having Brian on his back, because Brian off of his back is just fucking deadly, man. So he's like, you're taking him to his wheelhouse and just moving in there. So I knew that wasn't going to be a thing. Regardless if, you know, Frankie's got some of the best ground and pound, but, you know, with someone like Brian Ortega, Frankie's style of ground and pound, like the kind of almost like in his guard, like, it's like a combination of stack guard and being in the full guard. It's like a full stack guard, I'd call it. So he likes to stay there postured up, and Frankie likes to rain the bombs down. But dude, like, from that position, man, you're just giving Brian triangles or arm bars or omoplatas or whatever, man. So, yeah, that man could throw anything from the guard. So I knew it wasn't going to be on the ground. So I know there's going to be a stand-up fight. So I actually rewatched the Cub Swanson fight with Brian Ortega like the day before or the day of the fight when I was doing cardio, and I was like, damn, dude, Ortega's got hands. Like, I didn't really catch it the first time around. Like, I knew he had hands. I knew he could throw, but his techniques and his fight IQ he gained a lot, man. Because when you look at his fucking Clay Guida fight, it wasn't on that caliber, you know. T-City wasn't really to the level he's at now on the feet, but the strides he made was crazy, because he pretty much had like an all-out war with Guida, and he pulled it out in the third, and that was kind of his thing for a while. He'd be getting like his ass kicked a bit, but he'd always pull it out. But after some time, I think like probably like after the Renato Moicano fight, even then he kind of had to pull out like a crazy submission towards the latter part. But especially that Cub Swanson fight, that was kind of like the stand-up coming out party for Brian, because that was kind of the gauge. All right, he's facing like pretty high level guys, so let's see how he does against a guy like Cub. And we saw it, and on the feet he was looking real nice against Cub too. So I was like, all right, dude, he's getting real dangerous, because once you have something like that, man, you have a lot of jits players who come into the game and they really like to supplement their stand-up to bring it to the ground. They're really using their stand-up as a tool to get it to where they want the fight to go. But with Ortega, he's not doing that. He's not looking for how do I close the distance with my jab and then like go for a knee pick or something, or whatever, you know, or how do I just drag your feet down, and even if I don't get you down, I'll pull guard like Damian Maia or something like that. He's not doing that, man. He's like, all right, I'm a fighter. I want to fight. You know, if a submission or ground presents itself, cool. I know I'm super dope in that aspect. It's a wrap if it goes there, or if I need to take it there. But I'm going to fight you, man. I'm going to stand and I'm going to trade with you, and I have no problem with doing that. So he's a real fighter, and just how clean his stand-up got, bro. It's like, it's kind of crazy the gains he's making in his game at the rate he's making it, because to do that to Frankie, bro, and the way he caught Frankie, bro, with that step-in elbow, it's like, when no one could catch Frankie like that, because no one's throwing shit like that against Frankie, you know? And his timing, dude, was like on point. Just everything, man. Like, Frankie was doing good in that fight, and he was doing good in that fight. And just like his killer instinct, bro. Like, he can snatch your neck up, or when you're hurt, he knows what to do. He stays composed, dude. Composure is a big part of his game. Even when he's getting pieced up a little bit, he stays composed. Even when he pieces people up, he stays composed. So he's very balanced when it comes to his mental space. Amongst other things, dude, even his game is well balanced. And I was not expecting a first round knockout of Frankie Edgar. I was not expecting that. I was expecting the fight to be on its feet. I was expecting it to be back and forth. And I could see Ortega getting a knockout of Frankie during the stand-up. I could see that. You know what I mean? But to do it like that, dude, that shit kind of blew me away, because it's Frankie. It wasn't even anything about Ortega, you know, like, oh, he doesn't have the hands to do it. No, I know he has the hands to do it. It's just Frankie has the chin and the resilience and the heart to make it. So that was the kind of thing, like, oh shit, you know, like, he took out Frankie. Like, what? Like, in that fashion, because you saw Frankie get wobbled, and you're just like, oh shit, he tagged Frankie. And it was one of those things where it could have been like because of the time left on the clock, it could have been like a Dillashaw Cody situation, not in the sense of, oh, Frankie would come back in the second, but the sense of Frankie would be like rocked and then get saved by the bell. But I mean, the composure, back to talking about his composure, he stayed composed. He kept his range, kept his fundamentals, man. He didn't just go like, oh, I got to get him out of here. Rush in, technique out the window, wing hooks like flail. None of that, man. Stayed composed, and he delivered the blow that he was looking for way before. That uppercut was part of his game. Like, we saw him feinting it before we saw him throwing it. So that uppercut, that uppercut was something he put into his wheelhouse. You know, he added that shit to his repertoire, and I mean, it sounds weird to say that, like, oh, he added an uppercut, but since it's like one of the basic punches, you know what I mean? But to get your uppercut to that point is something different. It's when like you're sniping with that uppercut, that's like a whole different game. Because when you're sniping with that uppercut, that's coming with setups, because you're trying to get someone to duck their head down and then catch them. So when you're throwing uppercuts like how Ortega was looking for it, I mean, that was on a whole nother higher level. That's on like some elite level shit, you know, because that's when you start incorporating setups into your game. Once you start incorporating setups into your game, you're at a certain level, you know what I mean? You're not going to see too many, if any at all. I mean, I'm sure you would, but you would see it at the highest level of amateurs, you know, but you're not going to see any just like beginner AMs, unless they're like prodigies, really have the game that down. Because not only are you focused on your striking, you're focused on their defense and their evasion systems, and you probably have studied their evasive systems on film and kind of developed a counter striking system. Not like counter strike, but a system to counter their evasions. So that's what that shows he could formulate a good game plan. But not only that, man, like, it's not even the fact of the progress he made on his stand-up. Something that impressed me was like that way he took out Frankie and the way he threw that uppercut, man. Like, a lot of people don't do that, bro. A lot of people don't take the patience and take the time to really be select with their finishing shots, especially when it's that close to the end of the round. A lot of people are just rushing and looking to get you out of there at that point. Like when Cody rocked TJ, he was just like, oh shit, TJ's down. There's like a little time I just got to get him out of here. And that's like justified because there was like under 10 seconds, bro. There was like probably, you had like 3 seconds to get him fully out of there. But Ortega just really clean, really calm, and just did the damn fucking thing. Like, shit, bro. He is on some shit. Like, I don't mean like that, like any gear or anything. But I'm like, he's on some like next level shit, bro. Because, fam, I did to do that to Frankie, something else. And Frankie's the guy that they want. We'll see if you're championship caliber. Like, Frankie will be the one to sit you back down and kill hype trains. Look at Yair Rodriguez, bro. UFC had plans for him, was pushing him, and then that Frankie fight was, all right, if you could beat Frankie, you're really that dude. You're really that dude if you could beat Frankie. And we saw what happened in Yair. And look at the hype that happened to Yair after that. I don't even think we've seen Yair in the cage after that fight. I may be wrong, but I'm like 90% certain Yair hasn't fought since that Frankie fight. So it's like, killed the hype, killed the momentum, and kind of had a chip on his shoulder. Like, I don't give a fuck. No, you're not making a name off me, and beat the fuck out of him. And it was that same thing with Ortega in the sense of, all right, now it's time to really see where you're at. The way you did to what you did to Cub really showed that, all right, this guy's like in the upper echelon, but how high up? Frankie was that test, man. Frankie was that test. If you could do that in that way to Frankie, you could wear a UFC belt. And Ortega versus Holloway, no brainer. That's up next. That's an amazing fight. That's an amazing fucking fight. Like, I'm not even gonna go into any analysis or any thoughts on that yet, but all I have to say is that's an amazing fucking fight, bro. Frankie, you know, I'm not gonna say this is gonna be like, oh, it's over for Frankie. I'm not gonna say that at all. But I will kind of say it's very important what happens from here. And the UFC, man, like at this point, they're going to be looking to use Frankie to build up other stars. That's how the UFC does it. You could do a lot for the company. You could be respected by the company, but after a certain point, man, they're going to look to make stars off you. Because when you look at it, bro, they're gonna look at you as business, and they're gonna look at you as an investment. They're gonna say, okay, we invested so much into Frankie to build him up and build him into this draw, and we gave this to Frankie, and Frankie holds this value because Frankie could draw this many people or whatever, or Frankie makes this much money when we put him on something. At the end of the day, man, they're not going to say, all right, Frankie, we appreciate all your hard work, buddy. We appreciate you. And, we're you're retiring. We're going to wish you the best, man. We're glad you could go out on top. No, man, they're not trying to do that, bro. They're trying to get their investment back. How do they get their investment back? By transferring it over. How do you transfer it over? Have someone beat them, bro. The Holly Ronda hype. After Holly beat Ronda, bro, that's stardom directly fucking wire transferred over into Holly's account. All that clout, bro. You know how much fucking Holly clouded up, bro? She went from being, no one knew who the fuck she was, that she was going to get annihilated by Ronda Rousey, who could allegedly beat up Floyd Mayweather, to Holly Holm being the face of women's MMA the very next day after beating her. So that's how the UFC got their investment back on Ronda. And then it got lost in Holly, because after Holly went on the skid, and Holly never got taken out emphatically, and it just got transferred too much to where it wasn't really holding. And she kind of did get taken out emphatically. I'm wrong on that. It transferred too much too fast, and it lost a lot of value. It went from Holly to Misha. If Misha kept it, she would have clouded up way more. But Misha got it in March and then got knocked out in July. And the same thing with Holly. She had it in November. She got slept in March. So it just too much too fast, and she lost money that way. I mean, not money. I was talking about it in the way of investments, but she lost clout, bro. Like the clout Ronda had that got transferred, it just depleted way too much. So by the time Ronda came back, she didn't have that juice. You know what I mean? I mean, by the time Ronda came back to fight Amanda, although Amanda wrecked Misha, that juice wasn't there. Because it was like, all right, man, now that Ronda was so dominant, and the fact that, Ronda's not the dominant one and the belt is playing musical chairs, we don't know. Oh, let's see if Amanda holds on to it. Let's see. So the fans weren't gonna just invest. This one's the next one. This one's the next GOAT, female GOAT. So that's just how it is. And dude, all that juice from Frankie is on Ortega now, bro. Even more. Because Ortega did what was never done before. He finished Frankie. He knocked out Frankie, bro. Never done before. Never done before, homie. You had Frankie fucking rolling around like a mini Brock Lesnar in the Gray Maynard fights, never getting taken out. He didn't get taken out, bro. He went through a lot, man. Never got taken out, bro. First person to finish him, and in that way. So only thing left is a title shot for Ortega, and I'm not gonna speak further on that regarding the title bout. But big ups T-City, man. I've been rocking with T-City for a while, but not to like that heavy of extent. You know what I mean? Like I always liked him and stuff like that, but he didn't really do anything like super, super noteworthy until the Cub fight. That Renato Moicano fight was like impressive, but no one really knows Moicano. Moicano was the last person to beat Jeremy Stevens before Jeremy Stevens went on this run. So, he's been beating tough guys, but now he's beating tough guys that are big names. And to do that, man, he's got to be the clout transferred over, bro. And not only did the clout, now Brian Ortega is that new tough ass motherfucker, because if you haven't seen any of his older fights, bro, Ortega could take it, bro. Ortega could get pieced up and he will come back and he will find a way to win. Now he just cleaned up his game so much, he's not getting pieced up. He's just taking people the fuck out. So, I mean, I'm excited about the Ortega, man, T-City. I'm trying to see him getting a flying triangle, and that's going to launch him to stardom. If you haven't seen, bro, there's a video of Ortega on the beach with Hector and Huron and all that shit, and he fucking runs and jumps over two people. He runs and jumps over two people to a flying triangle. So that shit, it was was dope, and I want to see him pull that off in the cage. That'd be real cool. Not jumping over two people or anything like that, but a flying triangle, that'd be fucking dope. I think that's all I have to say about that now. I've only watched the fight live one time. I didn't watch it again. I'm probably gonna watch it again during my second cardio sesh. Oh, and while I'm on that, bro, anyone listening, man, in the comments below, list some of your favorite fights, some of your favorite fights at all time, because usually during my second cardio sesh, I that's where I just watch a bunch of fights, and your boy ran out of ideas, man. I'm starting to circle back and starting to watch the same fights again, and it's not as entertaining, so if you guys have any thoughts or any ideas of what some of your favorite your personal favorite fights, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be any big name. It doesn't have to be any title bouts or anything like that. But any of you guys' favorite fights that you just fucked with, comment it below, man, because I need some more fights to watch. On to the card outside of it. Honestly, bro, I think they should have had Frankie and T-City 5-round main event it. Make it a FS1 card or a FX card or whatever card, and that's that. And just make the next UFC just do what they do when Verdum and when Kane pulled out of the Verdum fight, and then Stipe came in, and then Stipe pulled out of the Verdum fight. And Verdum pulled out the Stipe fight. Should have did that. How they just moved the numbers back. But they didn't. They really wanted to have a pay-per-view. I would be surprised if this... I mean, Cyborg's a draw, so it might do decent. But I don't think that this pay-per-view is going to do very well. And it shouldn't be doing very well because it wasn't good. And the only good thing about it was Frankie Edgar and Brian Ortega. But this is coming from me. I could be wrong, man, because I started watching from after the Lombard fight. But, like, directly after the Lombard fight. I think, like, after I tuned in, like, that fight just ended. But I went on the article, and I saw it happen, like, right then. Because I was like, oh, wait, what fight is on right now? So I went to Sheerdog to check, and I saw that Lombard Dalloway ended, and he got DQ'd. And then I watched the video, and I was like, hey, yeah, that's fucked up, man. That's some cheap shit because... My bad, I had to adjust my filter. That's some cheap shit because it was blatant. It was intentional. It was blatant. It's not some heat of the moment shit. It was cheap. And fuck you, Hector Lombard, because now he's coming out saying, oh, CB Dalloway, he could have continued. He just didn't want to fight. Why the fuck would somebody continue a fight after they got rocked with a cheap shot after the bell? Like, you're compromised. Why? So I could go in there with a depleted chin and get hit with another 1-2 and I'm out? CB was pretty much out, fam. Like, and Hector Lombard, man, like, I used to kind of fuck with you, but, like, now I don't really fuck with you at all because, like, I'm just not a fan of cheap shit at all. And that's gonna translate over into what I'm about to talk about next. But before I get into that, man, I just want to say, man, like, Hector, dude, that shit was none of that. We're in the heat of the moment, whatever bullshit. I'm not going to take the time to start imitating the excuses because it's nothing but shit and bullshit. And dude, that's just I fucking hate sucker shit, dude. I fucking hate sucker shit. And what Hector Lombard did is some sucker shit. So fuck you, Hector. You're a bitch, and I hope you get fucking slept in your next fight, dude. And I'm sorry I'm getting, like, mad heated about it, but it's just like, dude, that's a fucking cheap shot, bro. I hate cheap shots. And because, dude, where's the honor? Where's the respect? That's pussy bitch shit, man. That shows you're a fucking coward. And the fact that he's not even just like, dude, it was wrong, I understand, and he's trying to appeal that shit, nah, bro. They should revoke your fucking license for that, man. You're hitting someone when their guard is completely down. Like, that's some bitch shit, bro. And you're not hitting them with the jab. You're not hitting them with the 1-2. Like, you hit them with straight comp, like a 1-2 hard, bro. Like, flush. Anyway, man, like, I know it's extreme. He shouldn't get his license revoked, but he should definitely be penalized greater. And it's not even like I get shit like I don't get it. Shit doesn't just happen like that. That was intentional. But you could at least pretend, man, like, oh, you know, I don't even know, man. I'm not even gonna like say what he should have said. He just shouldn't be saying what he's saying now. That's all, man. You're not he didn't want to fight. I'm done talking about Hector, man. That was fucked up. And on to another thing that I'm probably gonna get more heated about. This motherfucker, what's his name? Alex Hernandez or some bull ass shit like that. Fuck you too, man. Fuck you too, bro. Double middle fingers to you, bitch. Because he did that cheap shit where he faked like he was gonna touch gloves and then push kicked him. Dude, that threw everything off with Beneil Dariush, dude. That I honestly think that's the reason why he got knocked out. Because if someone's just coming at you like a raging bull off rip, then that's one thing. Then, you know, that should be expected, you know? You're in a fight. But for someone to fake like they're gonna touch gloves and then push kick you and try to like work off of that push kick and shit, man, like, nah, man. And the reason I say I feel like that's the reason why Beneil got knocked out was because he got like that totally threw him off his thing, and you know, no excuses. He got slept, and That's that. But I don't know, dude. I would be severely impressed with this kid if he didn't do that shit. But after that cheap shit, man, I take that away from you, bro. I take that one away from you. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve anybody, any big name after that. And I hope in your next fight, dude, you get knocked out in vicious fashion. Vicious fashion. And you go on a skid and you get cut from the UFC. Because I'm not trying to see that shit in the UFC. I'm not trying to see that shit in the UFC at all, man. Same shit with that fucking scumbag, Eric Silva. He's a fucking steroid monkey, bitch ass motherfucker anyway. But I'm not trying to see that cheap shit in the octagon at all, man. I'm not trying to see cheap shit in general. Like, but if people are going to be scumbags, dude, I'm just not trying to see that on the highest level. Because they're just being the highest level of scumbag. So fuck that kid, Alex Hernandez or whatever his fucking name is, you piece of shit. And yeah, dude, I know this is kind of like out of character for me, but dude, that's just, I have zero tolerance for cheap shit, bro. The same people that do that are the same bitches that would sucker punch someone, man. And I just have absolutely zero respect for that. I actually have disdain for that, bro. But you know, I'm not trying to give any more time or shine or light to those people. I just wanted to give my like quick fuck you to them. So fuck them guys. And what else, man? Cyborg Kuntiskaya, man. I'm not even gonna really talk about that, bro, because it's like, what is there to talk about? Honestly, we knew what it was. We just need someone to get beat up by Cyborg. That's it. And if she gets the upset, cool. But for the most part, we just kind of need someone to showcase Cyborg so we could justify having this as a pay-per-view. And bitch got wrecked. And that's that. Sugar Sean O'Malley. I want to talk about that fight and how irritating that fight was. And the reason why I'm saying it was irritating was because A, it shouldn't have been billed as high as it was billed, and B, the fact that it's billed that high, although the name brand, the name, their brands don't carry that much clout, but all right, if they're billed that high, then the display of martial arts should be on an extremely high level. And it was at a Fight Pass level. You know what I mean? They should have been on the Fight Pass prelims. Or like starting off the FS1 prelims. The fact that they were billed above like Stefan Struve and Andrei Arlovsky, that was like, you're disrespecting two vets by that. I get you're trying to show some young blood off, but it wasn't like you're showing off a Yair Rodriguez or a Brandon Caceres type fight where motherfuckers are spinning and doing all this shit. You were just trying to showcase Sean O'Malley, but like, no, it wasn't that good of a showcase for him. So, you know, there's a lot of things where people had good position on both sides. Between him and Andre, you know, they both had good positions and good opportunities, but never capitalized it on a lot of occasions. But I guess that comes with time, that comes with experience, that comes with growth. You know, kind of going back, looking like, oh shit, I could have did that when I was there, and da 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 da. I get that. I'm not knocking them for their actually, like in reality, dude. I'm not really putting any knock against them. It's more on Sean Shelby and the UFC brass, whoever put them at that as billed as high as they were, because they have some ways to go. You know what I mean? They definitely have a lot of potential, but they're not at that level yet where you could build them that high. You know, they didn't even do that with Cody that much. You know what I mean? So you got to build them right if you're going to build them. I'm not saying like it was a bad matchup or anything like that, but once you're like on the main card, especially like pretty much the Coco main event, as Joe Ben likes to call it, when you're the Coco, it's like there's a certain technique level and experience level, and something that should be there, because that needs to be displayed. There's a lot of things and a lot of opportunities that they missed out on during the fight, just because I feel like they lacked that experience. So, I'm just saying, give it more time before you put it that way. And it's just obvious, kind of like the way that the UFC's doing business. They're like, all right, we're looking at this kid's metrics, Sean O'Malley, and all right, he could probably be a draw. We need as much quote unquote like drawing power as we could have, because we need to justify making this a pay-per-view. And overall, dude, not a strong card at all, bro. I feel like Max and Frankie would have been incredibly dope, but the thing is, man, Frankie and T-City was incredibly dope too. So I feel like even if the card stayed in its original form, it still would have been a bad card. It's just the main focal point would have been Frankie and Max, but now it's just the main focal point is T-City and Frankie. But it wasn't a lose-lose situation to the fans, because it's like, all right, if Frankie wins, cool, we'll get that matchup with Max. We wanted to see that. If T-City wins, dope, because now you have really new blood in the division, and really proven at this point now. So yeah, man, that's how I feel, bro. That's my take on the card. That's how I feel about Frankie and T-City and all that. And I'm gonna probably crank out more videos this week. I'm gonna be pretty busy, but I'm gonna try my best to do it. I know it's been a little bit since I did a podcast episode, so I want to do a podcast ep. And yeah, man, I appreciate all you guys for checking my shit out, as always. Showing me all the love and all that. And you already know it's Mastermind MMA.